Shalom, everyone. It's wonderful to get together again and talk a little bit of Torah. So, this week's portion is called Matot Mas'eh. It's one of those doubles, and it is the very last one in the book of Bamidbar, the book of Numbers. And as I was looking at it, two things became clear right away. First of all, the fact that it's the last one, the very last portion in the book of Numbers, book of Bamidbar, means that for all practical purposes, it really is the last parsha where anything plot-like happens to the Israelites in all of Torah. It's over. Because yes, there's a whole other book, namely the book of Devarim, Deuteronomy, but that book is really one long, very long speech done by Moses as he reviews with the people what has been going on and their amazing experiences over the past 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, which is why certain things repeat, the Ten Commandments show up again and so on. Other than the fact that it tells us at the end that Moses died, nothing else happens other than a long review speech. So this is kind of a big milestone to Matot Mas'eh. It's kind of the last one. And so then, of course, when I was looking at what happens in Matot Mas'eh, I realized that like so many other parshot, this one has such riches of teachings for us. It's really hard to choose. But I decided, which is really kind of my favorite type of teaching, to choose one that is a gift of a teaching that can be used by us every day of our lives right now. It is timeless. It is something that happens all the time, something that we can do. It is a wisdom of behavior that has not lost its power, even though we are given it so long ago. And it all goes back to this thing that happens in the parasha called Matot Mas'eh, to the two tribes, the tribe of Reuben and the tribe of Gad. Now, as we know, just before they entered the promised land, which they're about to do, every tribe was assigned a part in the promised land that will be their territory. But what happened is, in order to get to those parts, they had to cross the Jordan River, because right now they were all still on the east of the Jordan. And so what happened is that the tribes of Reuben and Gad came to Moses and said, "Listen, Moses, you are our great leader, and we admire and respect you beyond words, but we will not cross the river along with everyone else. We have found that on this side of the Jordan River, grazing land, because we are shepherds, is the best possible grazing land for our flocks. We want to build our homes here. We want to live here. We will not come with you. We are not crossing with you and with the other 10 tribes." This was a big wow. Moses heard this, revolutionary, heart-stopping announcement, 11th hour, last minute, 2 tribes, disappointing him to the core, telling him that they have other plans. And by the way, think about it. For even just making that announcement is kind of a hard thing to do. You know, we all have people in our lives whom we admire and whom we never want to disappoint. We love and appreciate and need their guidance and wisdom and want to make them proud of us, not disappoint them. And yet Gad and Reuben faced the greatest of all leaders ever, the only one listed as having seen God face to face, saying, "We feel we need to disappoint you. We plan to stay here. We're going to build our homes here. Our livestock will stay here. We're not crossing the Jordan with you." Well, as you can imagine, this did not sit well with Moses. Even the greatest of all leaders may have moments of emotionality and weakness, and he launched into a tirade. Yep, he did launch into a tirade. How dare you? You're going to let your brothers do the hard work of settling and conquering without your help. This is God's command. 40 years of suffering have led to this. We've anticipated this, looked for this, wanted this, and so on. Now this great moment is at hand, and you're out? How can you? You are no better than your parents, who were part of the generation that had to die in the wilderness because they came out of slavery, didn't know how to think free and make decisions. This is a negative thing. You don't know how to embrace peoplehood and freedom. What a tirade. But Reuben and Gad were not done. They did have more to say. No, Moses, our dear leader, we will not abandon our brothers. Yes, we are setting roots here, but we will send our best men to the front lines of soldiering throughout the settling process. You can depend on us. We will, in fact, be freer to do this work of settling, of conquering, because our families and belongings will be left behind. They'll be elsewhere. We'll be your special forces, moving swiftly, moving effectively, doing God's work. And with this, Moses, who did have that momentary overflow, showed strength once again. And he accepted this arrangement because he did see its benefits and its wisdom. And on a beautiful silver platter, we are handed the particular lesson that I want to emphasize here. And that is that when and if we know that we must disappoint, and it can and does and will happen, that kind of act of us having to take away, we ought to always bring along something we can give back to allay, to diminish the disappointment, to lighten the blow. We must not just deliver the pain, but bring the seeds of healing at the very same time. It is a call to always act extra thoughtfully, extra respectfully and lovingly when we know we must deal a blow to someone we cherish, by preparing a well-planned, soul-nurturing path toward light. It does take courage. It does take humility. It takes wisdom, lots of compassion to do that which the tribes of Reuben and Gad did, and thus gave us the understanding of this not very difficult but brilliant gift today. This is an everyday lesson. It can be something small, it can be something major. When you take, always bring with you some give. Remember, if you are the recipient, you too will be grateful to have this done with and for you. May we all be blessed with the ability to act similarly when called upon, both as actor and or gracious recipient. May we always have the passion to give, particularly after having taken, so that we never leave brokenness in our path. May our desire to help bring wholeness. Shalom. This may it be the overriding need and passion of our lives, remembering that from brokenness is born the yearning to repair and to bring to completeness. That is our ongoing task, our ongoing gift, our ever-present mission. Wishing everybody Shabbat Shalom